This video is sponsored by Incogni. To protect your privacy by taking your personal data off the market, simply go to incogni.com/companyman and use code COMPANYMAN to get 60% off an annual plan. Be sure to click the link that is in the description. Jersey Mike's has arguably been the most successful sub-sandwich chain over the past decade. Let me know if you disagree with that, but going back to 2014, Nation's Restaurant News named it the #1 fastest growing chain out of the entire food service industry. The article states that they had opened 129 new restaurants over the previous year, bringing their grand total to 713. Well, every year since then, they have opened more than 129 restaurants, recently celebrating their 3,000th location. Back then, the longtime leader of the company, Peter Cancro, stated that a goal of his was to eventually have a Jersey Mike's in every U.S. state, and in 2023, that was accomplished when one was opened in Alaska. That is just one example of the company following through with their plans, because so far, most of the company's projections have become a reality. Something to keep in mind when I tell you that their current projections are much more ambitious than ever before. Peter Cancro recently said, "I have worked my whole life to be right where we are right now, and things have just started to grow, believe it or not." In 2025, the plan is to open 350 new restaurants similar to last year. Next year, the plan is to open more than 400 new ones and then continue on with a steady 13 to 15% growth rate after that. If it all works out, 5 years from now, there will be over 5,000 Jersey Mike's across the United States, and ultimately, there will be 10,000 of them throughout the world. In November of 2024, it was announced that Jersey Mike's would be acquired by Blackstone, a private equity firm, in a deal that valued the company at $8 billion. It was stated that a big motivation behind that deal was to grow the brand, in part by expanding it into new markets outside of the United States. My point here is that a Jersey Mike's is likely to open up in your area sometime soon, if it hasn't already. So in this video, I want to talk about this company while outlining what I believe to be 5 of the biggest reasons behind its previous success and potential for the future. Starting off, where else but with Peter Cancro, who I already mentioned is their longtime leader and easily the person most associated with Jersey Mike's. I know you would expect it to be somebody named Mike, but this is an unusual story. See, the Mike in Jersey Mike's comes from Mike Ingravalo, who in 1956 opened a 1,000 square foot sandwich shop named after himself in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, which is on the Jersey Shore. We have to realize here that sub sandwiches had yet to become popular throughout most of the country, with no national chains in existence yet, so being one of the few places people could buy one, it became popular. I think it is worth mentioning that the chain Blimpie was created in the 1960s with heavy inspiration from this sandwich shop. In 1971, after the shop had been sold a couple of times, Peter Cancro started working there when he was 14 years old. By 1975, the shop was about to be sold yet again, and despite being a senior in high school getting ready to go off to college in a few months, Peter Cancro wanted to buy it. The situation was that he had about a week to obtain $125,000 as a down payment. He says he went so far as to go door to door trying to raise the money until he contacted his former football coach, who happened to be the vice president at a bank that granted him the loan. Over the next 50 years, he consistently led the company, maintained ownership of it, and turned that $125,000 investment into something worth $8 billion. And I do want to make it clear that even though he recently sold the company to a private equity firm, which many would see as a potential red flag, he held on to a portion of the equity and will continue to lead it as CEO. So I am hopeful that his passion and proven business sense will continue to come through. My next reason behind the success and potential is the fact that Jersey Mike's has always been a private company, meaning it has never been traded on the stock market. Public companies tend to be pressured by investors to generate short-term profits. People are going to invest their money elsewhere if they are not seeing results. The very fact that Jersey Mike's has not had to deal with all of that has allowed it to take more of a slow and steady approach early on and build a strong foundation. 5 years after taking control of that original restaurant, Peter Cancro opened a second one about 15 minutes away that did not do very well. He ended up shutting it down after about a year and a half and waited another 7 years before trying it again. can. The idea to expand it into new areas originated from the fact that so many people were already taking the sandwiches to new areas. Obviously, the Jersey Shore is a big vacation spot, so a lot of his customers would be from out of town and ordering extra sandwiches that they could take back home with them. He figured that if people wanted them enough to transport them, they would certainly want them enough to go out and buy them if they were nearby. But this time, he established a franchising system, and that is going to take me right into the next reason: franchising, which is when other people open and operate their own Jersey Mike's while paying the central company for the right to do it. Given the lower investment that is necessary compared to the company opening its own restaurants, it is a common and comparatively easy way to expand a quick service brand like this. I will admit, it always feels unsettling when I see a restaurant opening so many franchises, but from what I can tell, Jersey Mike's has approached it carefully, opening fewer than 100 franchises within their first decade of doing it and slowly accelerating the program as the demand grew for it. Over there, franchisees are selected through a strict process where they say only 1% of applicants are approved, and then even after approval, each one of them has to attend 360 hours of training. I guess even that original restaurant has been transformed into a training facility. Today, almost all of their locations are franchised, and there's evidence to suggest that the program has been effective. For one, consider that very few Jersey Mike's have ever closed. If one opens up in your area, it is probably going to stay there, and that reflects on their ability to choose the right locations and the right people to operate them. Also, I want to draw attention to the fact that system-wide sales for Jersey Mike's have been growing much faster than the number of locations. Compared to 2013, they have about 4 times as many locations with almost 10 times as many sales, meaning their average unit volume has more than doubled to $1.3 million per location each year. I just want to compare that to their largest competitor, Subway, who averages less than $500,000 per location each year. And I think that is reflected in the valuation of the two. It just so happens that Subway was bought by a different private equity firm about a year before the Jersey Mike's deal for a reported $9.6 billion, which is only about 20% more money for a company that is significantly larger by almost any measure. I think this all suggests that the Jersey Mike's franchises are strong and stable and have more potential than most of its competitors. For the next reason on my list, I'm going to have to say quality, because Jersey Mike's has a reputation for being a little higher class than competing sandwich chains like Subway. Their customers overall are believed to have a higher income because the sandwiches do tend to be a little pricier, but I think most would agree that it is still a good value. You are getting what you pay for. One thing that stands out to me is a 2019 Market Force survey that included over 7,600 people and ranked Jersey Mike's as America's favorite sandwich chain, specifically ranked highly in the categories of food quality and staff friendliness. The bread is baked in the store fresh every day, the vegetables are prepared each morning, the meats and cheeses are premium brands, all of it is expressed through their slogan, "A sub above." That's catchy enough, and famously, the meat is always sliced after it is ordered, right in front of the customer.
Sliced right in front of you and piled high on our giant-sized rolls.
They make them right in front of you.
Actually, it is kind of funny that when Peter Cancro first bought the company when he was 17 years old, I guess he was legally not yet old enough to operate that slicer. Overall, I would say anyway that the quality of the sandwiches over at Jersey Mike's makes them stand out from most others. Another thing that makes Jersey Mike's stand out from the others is the environment inside the restaurants. Part of that environment is created through a subtle New Jersey theme. Remember, when Peter Cancro first took over that restaurant, it was in New Jersey, but New Jersey was not in its name. He renamed it that in the 1980s, right when he started franchising to help it maintain that regional identity. Today, when you go inside of a Jersey Mike's, you are probably going to find pictures of the beach hanging on the walls or some kind of decoration associated with New Jersey. In 2022, you may have seen the commercials, they hired their first celebrity spokesman, Danny DeVito, who is in fact from the Jersey Shore. Even though they have kept that aspect of it alive, at the same time, they have also tried to make it feel like a local business. In the words of Peter Cancro, people see us as a local sub shop, but they don't consider us a chain. And that is by design, where the employees are more talkative and friendly, and there have been all of these charitable efforts to benefit local organizations, such as their month of giving that happens every March. In fact, on March 26, 2025, the day that this video is released, local Jersey Mike's owners and operators are donating all of the money that comes in to local charities. I mean, they specifically specifically select franchisees that want to be engaged with their community. So ideally, Jersey Mike's wants to better resemble your local deli rather than any of the competing national chains. The company has also invested a lot of money toward keeping things looking nice and up to date. Most recently, in 2020, they invested $150 million toward remodeling the restaurants. Potentially another example of something that would be trickier if it were a public company struggling to justify spending that does not lead to short-term profits. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Jersey Mike's when you compare it to your local sub shop or when you compare it to the other national chains? I do not think anyone will deny that there are aspects that make them stand out, but do you think those aspects make them more attractive and justify the price of the sandwich? Also, I have to ask, what do you think about Peter Cancrow? Because I would say he is incredibly inspirational, especially for younger people. I'm just saying, not many 67-year-olds could say that they own the same business for 50 years. Finally, what do you see for the future? Will Jersey Mike's continue to be successful and efficient as it grows bigger, or will things take a negative turn? Do you think the concept is strong enough to justify 10,000 locations? And any other thoughts you have about Jersey Mike's, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Incogni is today's sponsor, and I think this is an important service because there are thousands of companies out there collecting, aggregating, and trading your personal data without you knowing anything about it. Most often, it is things like your phone number and email, but also things like employment history, which feels invasive. Consider that if a company is affected by a data breach, your personal information could be part of that leaked data even if you never did business with that company, and then that could lead to all sorts of spam emails and phone calls and who knows what else. I know hearing about all this can be troubling and overwhelming because it would take years to contact each one of these data brokers and ask them to delete your information, and that is why Incogni is so useful. They will contact the brokers on your behalf, request the data removal, deal with their objections, and it is effective. As you can see right here from my most recent privacy report, my data has already been removed by hundreds of brokers and continues to be removed by more of them each month. To get started, all you have to do is go to incogni.com/companyman and use code companyman to get 60% off an annual plan. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching.